I'm now joined via satellite by the voice of Three Dog himself, Erik Dellums. Good afternoon there, sir.
Good afternoon, my friend. It's Chad, right?
Yep, that's right.
So excited to be talking to Glasgow, Scotland. Glasgow, did I say that right? I don't know.
That's about right, yeah. Before we do begin there, I do have to advise folk listening that we can't talk about any future project that Erik may be in, but I was wondering if we could perhaps talk about the reaction to your tweets. It seems you've set the world on fire, as the song goes. Is this anything like you expected it to be?
Absolutely not. I'm as much a fan of the work that Bethesda Softworks does as anyone else. I just stumbled into voice work, so just the opportunity to be on Skyrim and to be in Fallout 3 was extraordinary. So I happened to be contacting the guys over there, just saying hello. And I let them know that I knew that fans, were clamoring, trying to figure out, is there any chance that Three Dog will be back sometime? And, they let it slip that it looks like Three Dog will. And they said that, well, maybe you could tell your fans. So I don't even think they anticipated that it would explode like this. So unfortunately, my lips have been sealed because they're very private people. They probably on some level love the fact that the fans are clamoring. But now, fans, they're digging. I think they're digging too deeply now, and Bethesda tries to keep things as secretive as possible.
Yeah, unfortunately that is the case. As much as we like to try and hit them up for stuff occasionally, but we've pretty much hit the cone of silence ourselves.
Well, I keep telling people that, follow me on Twitter at @ETDellums, and, whenever I get permission to if they give me a bone, Three Dog will share that bone. So, I get little hints I toss out there.
Well, we've been watching you with great interest there. Now, other than Fallout, of course, we've seen you in things such as The Wire, Homicide, NYPD Blue, Skyrim, as you've mentioned, and Avatar: The Last Airbender. Makes me wonder a bit how exactly you got into Fallout. Did they contact you? Did you contact them? Is it something you auditioned for?
Yeah, it was funny. It actually just came about as an audition. I've been doing a good deal of acting and really became known for playing some rather dark characters like on Homicide, and that's actually what led to The Last Airbender. Apparently the executive producer of The Last Airbender was a huge Homicide fan and then created this role on Last Airbender, so that was my first voice character. I actually got a call just to come in to Bethesda Softworks and just try to create some characters. And I had no clue. They bring you in there and you have to sign non-disclosure agreements, and they just give you little bits and pieces of general pieces from scripts, and they allow you to create characters. So they gave me like 7 or maybe even as many as 11 different characters to try to create. And I came up with some pretty cool voices, and they fell in love with a few of them, but decided that Three Dog was the way to go. And, it exploded from there.
Great. So did you get to pick the name, or is that something that they set for you?
No, they set for me, and but they gave me free reign to just kind of create whichever style I wanted to bring this character to life. So I actually, I've done some DJing in my past. I was a disc jockey, so I knew about like Wolfman Jack and some of the great growling DJs from the 50s. And so I just walked in there and started doing all these growls, all these ows and all this stuff. And the engineer was cracking up. And he said, well, maybe they'll go for it. And so I was just bow wowing and doing all this crazy stuff. And then they just pretty much just said, go for broke. So all those growls and owls and oohs and, several of those different lines were just improvs that we just did right then and there. Mm. And really become a part of who the character is.
Great. So he does seem to be someone that does divide people a bit, though, between either loving or hating it. When it all came out, is he someone that still appeals to you?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I actually, I'm an actor, and, I actually fall in love with all of my characters. I mean, I've played some pretty nefarious dudes. I actually just got through doing a new show for CBS called Golden Boy, and I play a guy that actually has killed 13 people. And, to wrap your head around that, you've gotta be able to fall in love with whoever you're playing in order to make them a real person. So yeah, I love Three Dog, and I love his sarcasm. I love all of it. I mean, and I understand why he divides people. I mean, he has some pretty harsh, sarcastic lines, but what I love about the character is I think that really does have a big heart underneath all that. He really does want, the person playing the game to survive out there in the wasteland,
Now, of course, another one of those dark characters is the character there that you played in Skyrim there in Nazir. It's obviously a very, very different role there to the Three Dog role. Did you enjoy the contrast, or?
Oh, I love that. I mean, the Elder Scrolls, the whole bit is really more what I would say as an actor is really more of a grand, almost Shakespearean kind of piece. And so actors love that. I actually went into Bethesda and read several different characters as well. And there was one in particular I really wanted to do, and who knows, if there's another game, maybe I'll get a chance to do them. But the Nazir character was a thrill. I just wish it was was a meteor role, because I really loved it. It wasn't taxing at all on my voice. I found it actually was a very easy character to find. Three Dog, I was hoarse and exhausted. You do about 600 lines a day, and I was exhausted. But yeah, I love the contrast. I mean, there's so many different kinds of characters I really want to play, and I'm just now really getting myself out there in terms of the video game realm.
So, what would be the dream role there for you there?
It's tough to say. I mean, I'm sure as an actor, roles like Three Dog, they rarely come around. I mean, any kind of role that is substantive like that really can make an impression would really be a dream. It doesn't matter how large the part is. I just love the fact that when I meet young gamers that they're really, really into the character. So actually, I'd like to dabble in any of the big games. And I'd love to do something that's totally far removed from something I've done before, like these Call of Duty kind of things, and all sorts of. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I love dark characters, but I can certainly play something that's more heroic.
Great. Now, for those fans who are out there who are thinking they'd like to maybe get into a bit of voice work and perhaps star in a future Fallout or Elder Scrolls game, is there any sort of career advice you can give for them there?
First of all, you really need to play around in a studio, even if it's a home studio. Just get yourself a decent microphone or whatever. Just start playing around with testing what I would call the elasticity of your voice, just trying to see where you can go. The key with a lot of these video games is that you have to literally have a wide range of abilities, because they're looking at characters, half the characters that have been created don't even exist in the real world. So they're looking for things that really kind of stand out. So just kind of play around with your voice. Get yourself, some kind of recording done, and really get yourself out there to some kind of agent, even if it's a small local agency. That's what I did with regards to this game. You have to understand that the vast majority of these games are Los Angeles based games, so being out in LA is really a big deal. I haven't spent a lot of time out there with regards to that, but I will. And that's really all I can say is really play around with that. Hey, even, throw something up on YouTube, let somebody know who you are. I mean, I think the doors are really starting to swing open for me just now. Maybe it was because of that doggone tweet, but I think for the first time, a lot of these casting directors are beginning to recognize my name and start, contemplating bringing me in for some of these, other games.
Well, great. Well, thanks very much for joining us there, and we're looking forward there to Golden Boy, and we certainly hope to hear from you more in the future.
I really appreciate it. Well, keep your fingers crossed. I'm also trying to get on Boardwalk Empire on HBO.
Oh, that would be nice. It certainly would fit that dark character role.
Yeah, there's a juicy part there, but please do follow me on Twitter at @Dellums, and I'll keep you posted as to what's going on. And I really appreciate this opportunity to talk to you, Chad.
Great, no problem.